OpExChange coordinator for South Carolina. I've been in this role since July. It's a unique change for me in that I find myself in being a salesman. And if you know me, that's not my background. I've been a plant manager, operations, engineering, manufacturing all my life. But one of the things that I've liked about this is that what I'm selling is something that I believe in, because I've been a member of the Lean Alliance OpExChange for almost 15 years, right? For some time. And I believe in what we're selling here, right? I believe in this. I see the benefit. I've personally benefited from it at my plants and as an individual. And this is where I see the huge benefit to everyone, all the companies in our area. So again, I'll just share with you part of my sales pitch that I give to people. Yeah. So who is the OpExChange? So you saw all the logos. So we're a network of a fraternal group, 119 local companies that are willing to benchmark and share best practices. You can see on the map on the right there, those are our locations across the state. One of the things we see is we get report outs from companies that are actually implementing new technologies. That's one of the big selling points of this group for many years, is that we get to go see it. We get to hear from the people that are doing it, not just salesmen, but people that are doing it. So this year we've actually implemented virtual broadcasts and webinars from industry leaders and subject matter experts. There's virtual and in-person training classes courtesy of the South Carolina Manufacturing Extension Partnership, which we're a part of. The OpExChange is part of the SCMEP. One of the legacy merits of the Lean Alliance OpExChange is plant visits, to actually go and see these improvements taking place. And then there's positive exposure for your company. This is where there's companies that are actually reporting top line growth because of being a member of this group. It's a great thing to be a member of this group that's focused on operational excellence, not just in your plant, but also within South Carolina. So it's a great group. I'm proud to be a member. I'm glad to have you all as members. So this year, been a banner year for membership. 22 new members in 2020. You can see the concentration across the state. Here's a listing of all of those new companies that have joined us to benchmark with us, to collaborate with us, to learn from us, to share with us. We had a large influx in the upstate, in Spartanburg, Greenville, Pickens area. The Metrolina area has grown the highest percentage. A lot of companies joined us from the Metrolina area. And then we have some smattering of companies that joined us across the Midlands and the PD Low Country. So it's been an interesting year. Some of you heard Jimmy and I talking as we started. It's been a wild year. So 2020, we've had some good events, some really good events, 26 events across the year. Started off by plant visits, and then we started supplementing with webinars and virtual report outs to help offset the reduction of plant visits because of COVID. So these are the events that were conducted, and we started off January and February. You can see 4 out of the 5 events in January and February were plant visits, and then March, COVID hit. And that changed things up for you all in your plants and your companies, and it changed things up for the OpExChange as well. So we started getting webinars. We started in the April-May timeframe webinars, and in the July timeframe we started beginning virtual report outs from companies. So this is where it wasn't just a webinar teaching something, it was a virtual report out from member companies. And then we also improved our communications, beefed up the content of what we were showing in these virtual broadcasts, and improved our communications with our members. So it's really interesting to look at the attendance during this time. So if you look at January and February, those are typical months, and these are unique companies. These aren't individuals; these are companies. So in January we had 16 companies that attended these visits. In February, 27 companies, and that's not unusual. That is typical of what happened throughout 2019. COVID hit, and then it dropped down to 9 for March. Then we started supplementing with the webinars, and then you can see the increase in the July timeframe. July, August, I think we averaged 50-something companies attending these events. So we're learning something through this COVID experience, is that the plant visits are really important. We want to do those, but look at the reach that we're getting with these virtual report outs. Again, 50-something companies, and there was one event, I think we had over 100 people attend this event. So the reach with these is great. We had a board meeting in Newberry for the OpExChange board of directors, and in that, one of the board members, and he's the director of manufacturing for one of our plants as well, he said, "Mike, the webinars aren't for me, because I don't want to sit and watch something on a computer monitor. I want to go and see. I want to go and see and hear and smell and experience." So I do have members of my plant, though, that do attend those, and they do get things out of that. Well, I think going forward, we've learned that we need both. We need both. We need those plant visits to actually go and see, but we also need to reach out to these other companies that can't attend. I had one director of operations, I think he was in one of our facilities in Charleston. He said, "Mike, I'd much rather attend a webinar for 1 or 2 hours than have to drive from Charleston up to Spartanburg, attend a 3-hour event, and then drive back." So I think that we're going to, going forward, as COVID diminishes, we're going to see both. We're going to continue having these offerings so that we can get more people, more companies, but we're also going to have those plant visits where we actually go and see. I'm going to be working with some companies to maybe meld the two. Maybe we have a plant visit and we record portions of it, so that we can share with the rest of the team. So I do think this has been a learning experience from it. I think we're going to get better from it. So 2021, Q1. So we got COVID up there in the right-hand corner, but we believe that's diminishing. So I have now 11 companies and individuals that have signed up to present during Q1. In this, we do have a plant visit in February. We may scale down the size of it depending on what the COVID situation is in February. We have a possible plant event in March as well, and we're going to be seeing more of those as COVID diminishes. But look at these companies. We've got lots of companies that are presenting. Look at the topics, some really good, meaty topics that we're going to have. Virtual reality. So Industry 4.0. A lot of companies say, "That's not for me. There's really not, what are the savings?" Well, you're going to hear from one of our companies that has had so significant financial savings by doing this virtual reality training. Sustainability and reducing utility cost. So this is a big topic, making our earth greener, doing our part for recycling, but also benefiting from it financially. We're going to have a session in March that is going to discuss this. Komatsu is going to be part of this. Komatsu is going to share how they reduce their utility costs by 50%. So again, really good topics, value stream mapping and Industry 4.0. Aston Johnson is going to be presenting and talking about how they're doing their long-term planning using value stream mapping and incorporating Industry 4.0. It's not a separate part, they include it in it. Some really good topics. Jim Benson, many of you have heard of Jim Benson. He's the author of Personal Kanban. He has a relationship with one of our board members, and because of that, we're able to get him. He's going to come in and give us a talk on powerful visual management. And he's a keynote speaker, sought sought after internationally. That should be a really good session. So a lot of good content. We're going to start seeing more and more of the plant visits as we come up into 2021. And by the way, Molly, you're moderating this. If people have questions during this, I feel free to ask the questions, comment as we're going along. I'm fine with that.
Okay.
So one of the things I want to talk about is the positive exposure that companies get from hosting an event. You all see the event recaps, and I send out these event recaps to all the OpExChange members when there's an event. I also do a public-facing article, and I post that on LinkedIn, and I submit it to SC Biz News, and that gets published. And these are, you can see, I think every one of them that I've submitted has been published, and here's a smattering of them that we've had this year. This is positive exposure for your company. You know, Sunland Logistics shares lean journey with the OpExChange. That's great exposure for Sunland. They other companies see that, who is Sunland? There's a logistics company that cares about lean. This is great exposure. So again, one of the things by hosting an event, you get positive exposure, and people see this and they say, I want to work at a place like that. So again, really good exposure you get from this. So with this wild year that we've had, we still have had some people and some companies that have really gone beyond, and they've really participated well in the OpExChange. And we're going to recognize those people. I have each of these companies and employees will receive a plaque. I have 3 nice plaques and a trophy that I'll be sending out tomorrow after I present these here today. So we'll start off with the company engagement. Well, first of all, you all have seen this chart. I've sent this chart out. I've published it on LinkedIn. These are the highest participating companies in the OpExChange in 2020. And you can see 10 of them. These are the top 10 that participated. I've had some critiques to this that I maybe should make it per capita, per head count. So we can look at that going forward into 2020. But there were 3 companies that really stood out in their participation: Dish Network, FN America, and Savannah River Nuclear. So these 3 companies, they're at every one of these events. So I want to start off with this first award, and this is the 2020 Company Engagement Award. This company had attendance of 72 throughout the year. And of that, 31 individuals participating. They're here today. They also made a virtual presentation to the OpExChange on industrial Internet of Things. So very participative company. And so I'd like to congratulate Dish Network and Spartanburg for winning the 2020 Company Engagement Award. I worked at Dish for almost 11 years. Fantastic company, great people, really highly participative throughout the years in the OpExChange and Lean Alliance. So congratulations, Dish. The next one is the 2020 Employee Development Award. And one of the things about the OpExChange is that it's not just for your continuous improvement manager. You know, we do have some companies that their continuous improvement manager attends the events. That's not the intent of this. This is for multiple people, multiple departments, right? If the continuous improvement manager can't attend, send your HR manager, send your finance manager, send your hourly employees. This is, again, this is employee development. And so this company had 35 different employees participating in OpExChange events throughout this year. They're in almost every event. They are there in every event. And I see different people almost every event as well. So I'd like to recognize Savannah River Nuclear Solutions in Aiken for the 2020 Employee Development Award. So I'll be sending this nice plaque out to Progetta. So you'll be receiving this hopefully in a few days. Collaboration. So that's what we do with the OpExChange. This is the biggest benefit that we get out of the OpExChange. We're peers, we share. So this company joined the OpExChange. It's either January or February. They joined the OpExChange. They hosted an event, a plant visit, in June. Right, this is right as we started thinking we were coming out of COVID. Right, and they hosted an event, socially distanced, of course, with masks. But in this event, they shared what they've done to turn this company around, how they adopted lean, how they actually used the Jim Benson personal Kanban approach, and they used that on the factory floor. They used it with their shop floor control. So they showcased that. We had maybe 15 members come and join that event. But after that, it got a lot of attention. People saw it. Other companies say, hey, and we'll mention who it is, this Dantherm Cooling. Congratulations, Dantherm Cooling. But they reached out to Kevin, who's the production manager, say, Kevin, would you be willing to host us and so we can take a deeper dive and go look at what you're presenting? So that's what we did. So Kevin brought in other companies afterwards, fielded phone calls, shared information afterwards. So this is what we are all about. It's that initial sharing and that continuing on benchmarking. So congratulations to Dantherm Cooling for the 2020 collaboration.
Mike, you're on mute. Mike, you're on mute.
How long have I been on mute?
The slide
Just a
program.
little while.
Just about 2 minutes.
2 minutes?
Right after you did Dantherm Cooling's award.
All right.
Yep.
I tried to unmute you, it wouldn't let me.
All right. Did I get through Dantherm's presentation?
Yes.
All right. Live webinars. You don't get muted at a plant visit, right?
That's true.
Well, not normally, but. All right. So individual engagement. Again, these names that you pop up here that you see here are people that are participating in all of these events. So you will see these people, several here at this event today. They don't just attend the events, they participate. And the example I was going to use is Mike Cuggy. Mike Cuggy with Aston Johnson. Our first webinar that we hosted trying to supplement after COVID. And Mike contacted me afterwards and gave me some constructive criticism. He said, Mike, just want to let you know that webinar was a little bit light. I'd like to see a little bit more of this, a little more of that. So I took that to heart and tried to beef up further webinars after that. So again, this group, very participative, working towards continuous improvement and pushing others. So there was, out of all these people, there was one person that just edged out the others just on the amount of participation he had, and that was Chris Lebec. Chris Lebec with FN America in Colombia attended 13 OpExChange events throughout 2020. So I'd like to recognize Chris and thank him. And then FN America, I think he had 3 people in the top 10 participating in these events. So, Chris, you're going to receive this very nice trophy to put on your desk. So now I'm going to be a little free driving here. We are going to go through a web portal change. And if you've been to a web page before, it looks much the same as this. It's as you go to this web page, you'll see, okay, we do lean manufacturing, Industry 4.0, and leadership. It shows a little bit about who we are. The public-facing portion of this change now, you'll still see this, but you'll also be able to look at our members. And this is where all our member companies will be listed across the top. They're also listed alphabetically down here, so all of our company members. You can leaf through these and see who they are. You can click on a name, and it's a hot link. It'll take you to the web page you provided me to include in this. So all of our member companies are out there, links to their web pages. Another nice feature is this map. So if I click on View Map, it shows all of the OpExChange companies across the state. And below that is data that shows who they are and what they manufacture, what service they provide. So this is a great feature for public facing, right? So this is where if somebody wants to find out about OpExChange, they can do that. I'm going to go a little bit deeper into our member portal. So if you're an OpExChange member, you also have your own dashboard. And this is just for OpExChange members, so the public can't see this. You have to be a member to get here. If I click on the member directory, I still get that same, all the logos and the companies that are participating. The map, I want to show you some of the features of this map. So if I want to know, I click on the search function here. I want to know all of the companies that are in Spartanburg. And I can type in Spartanburg, and I can either look at county or city. So let's look at city. And it'll show up just the companies that are in Spartanburg. I can zoom in on that, and I can hover over it, and it'll give me more information on the companies that are in Spartanburg County. And then down below, I can click on it. There's Dish Network, and tells me their address, who the SCMEP vice president is, what they do, and what county they're in. I can click on the satellite, and I can take a deeper dive. And I want to go look at their plant. So I can get an aerial shot of Dish Network. Some nice tools to actually look at different views of the plant. I can refresh this. And let's say I want to look up forklift. So forklift, I have 2 forklift manufacturers that are in the OpExChange. And then it'll show up who they are. I got Komatsu in Newberry and Keon in North America, in Somerville. So again, a really nice feature that if you're looking at, I had one member company that was in the Savannah River area, and he says, who are the other OpExChange members around me? So I can, the region, the central Savannah River area, then it'll show everyone that is around. So they were actually, that was Textron Specialized Vehicles. And then he can reach out to any of his companies that are near him if he wants to reach out and benchmark with them. Now, how do you reach out and benchmark with somebody? In the past, and what he did recently, he reached out to me, and then I had to go reach out to others and say, hey, could you talk to him? Could you talk to him? We now have this member industrial directory. And you click on this and it downloads a spreadsheet. I'm going to actually pull up the one that I've already downloaded. And what I've done in here, because this is being recorded in a webinar, and others might see this. I've taken out the last name and the email address. But now I can come through here and I can go and search at, let's say, BOMAG. BOMAG, I know Brady is the primary contact there, is the director of operations. And I can send an email to him. Say, hey, Brady, can you tell me something about what you're doing in safety? So this is something in the beta testing of this website. And we did go through beta testing in November. I reached out to several of you to help me in this beta testing. Almost every person that beta tested came back and says, this is great, but I really want to be able to contact my peers. So that's one of the benefits that you're going to get now with this new portal. So I click back on my dashboard and content library. So after every event, I will send you all a recap, event recap, and I will send you attachments and any reference material that went along with it, as well as a recording of the webinar. You send out that email and then it gets lost. So in this new portal is going to be a repository, so you can go back and look at these events. And for instance, there's the BOMAG event that I was talking about with Brady. So I can click on that. I can go to the menu. I can look at the event recap. There's the event recap. I can download that PDF version. I can go and look at the reference materials. So here is Brady's presentation that he went through. So I can have his presentation, the webinar. This is the webinar, so I'll play it for a second.
Information from actually just providing that report, and even after the
so you can go back and watch the webinar after the fact. It's not just there lost in an email that I sent to you, but it is there in this portal. If there's any pictures that are included, so you'll be able to go through the pictures. Right? There's some pictures that Brady provided. Resources. So with this event, in addition to his training presentation, there was an A3 problem solving that template we included. So you can download that. And this is a nice template that was provided as an additional piece of information from this session. It goes to the A3 problem solving. You can use this template to go through your 5 whys, and again, a nice tool. So the whole benefit to this, again, is that you can go back and look at these events, and after the fact, and let's say it's a year from now, I want to go back and look at that BOMAG event. It's still there. One of our beta testers did point out this is going to get noisy. As we have more and more and more events, we're going to need to refine this to come up with a way that you can go and search. You can search for safety events. You can search for Industry 4.0 or artificial intelligence. So that's something we will be working on in the future, but this is a nice thing to have. So we'll be rolling this out in January. We'll have a discussion board on here as well. So it's a discussion board where you can go in there and you can start a conversation and type out I'm not going to do it here, but you can type out a conversation, start a discussion. It will alert you. It will alert you if anybody's replied to it by email. Again, this will be part of just for the OpExChange. This is not something you're going to see out on LinkedIn. It's just for the OpExChange members. So discussion board, upcoming events. So we're still putting this together, but this has got the January events out here. So you can go out there and see what's coming, what events we have. For instance, this is Carolina CoverTech going to present early January on leading through a crisis. If I wanted to find out more about it, I click on it. It gives me more description on it. And if I wanted to enroll, I just click on Enroll Now. It automatically enrolls me. It knows that I'm a member. It knows my information. It will send me an email confirmation. We've just enrolled you in this. So a really nice feature as far as enrolling for the classes. Then one other feature I was going to point out is SCMEP Online. So there is a lot of virtual training out there from the SCMEP, and some of it's fee-based, some of it's free. So this is where, if I come down and I can look through here, they got the topics out here, different topics, and I scan down, you can see that some of them are free. You can see the ones, I always do the free ones. So there was one AI, artificial intelligence in York County, a free offering from identifying good robot projects. So a lot of free content is out there, and you and everyone else in South Carolina is, anybody is able to access those. There's also some courses that do have a fee assigned to them. Like, for instance, this is the manufacturing associate training, a new thing that the SCMEP has come out with, associate training, certification in manufacturing. It's $350, but if you look at this, if you are registered South Carolina manufacturers, funds are available to cover a portion of registration cost. So again, I urge you to take a look at it, and I think there's some good offerings out there. So let's go back to my dashboard. One of the things that I've been telling people about the OpExChange, and I've used it this way personally as a member of the Lean Alliance and OpExChange, and I've used it with people that report up to me, is it's an individual development planning tool. And I would, when I was at Dish or when I was at Morgan, I would personally have goals, attend so many events, come back, teach others what you learned, implement something and make an improvement. So here is the dashboard that shows all the things that I've attended, that I've completed, that I've been certified in. And so if you wanting to know what you've done, what have I seen this year? This is where Chris Lebeck can go there and he'll see 13 things that he's completed this year just with the OpExChange. And it is a great developmental tool individually and as for an organization. So again, this is a nice tool, nice portal. It's in its development stages. We will be rolling it out in January, and I'm looking for feedback. And I know that some people will give me some feedback, and hopefully that we can make it even better. So are there any questions on the portal? No.
There aren't any in the chat.
What's that?
There are not any in the chat.
So if anybody's got any questions, again, feel free to pipe up. Again, this is, I'm done with my portion. I knew it was going to be a short session. Again, we do have a good 2021 coming up. I know that we've got several plants that are going to be presenting. I'm looking for more in Q2, right? So if you would like to be presenting in Q2, if you got something you want to share, please let me know. Any other questions, comments? Okay, well, I want to, again, thank each of you.
Mike, this is
Thank
Sean
you.
Tummy. Can you hear me?
Hey, Sean.
Hey, I did leave a question in the chat. I keep losing connection about once a minute, so I apologize if I disappear. I would recognize Mike Demas as well for continuous improvement with the group this year, despite all the amazing challenges. So appreciate the work that you've done. I did leave a question in the chat. The tools that you were just going through in the dashboard, that's still in test?
It's, yes, so they're not available now. I mean, if you want to look at the map, I can send you a copy of the map.
Okay.
Yeah, they're still in development. We'll be rolling them out in early January.
And would that be available to just myself as a member of the OpExChange, or could I use some of those development tools that you showed for my staff here as development plans?
Anybody that it's that enrolls in the OpExChange. So this is where it's you, Jimmy Pollard,
Got it.
and Brian Harris, anybody at your group that is part of the, and again, member companies, we're all part of the OpExChange. it's meant for people that are using it, right? So if somebody gets enrolled and then they're not using it, we'll probably roll them off after some period of time.
That's understandable. Thanks again for all the work you've done this year, Mike.
Well, thank you, Shauna. Appreciate you and Dish. Any other comments, Molly, out there?
Just a lot of people thanking us, so we appreciate you guys recognizing our hard work. So thank you.
Well, I tell you, again, I love this group. I love what we do, right? So this is where I'm passionate about it. I know in this group, again, we are a fraternal group. We're like-minded people. This is a lot of fun. I really appreciate the fact that I'm able to get to do this. This is like going in a playground. So anyways, I guess I'll wrap it up. So I'd like to again thank each of you, right, for your participation during the year. I know it's been a crazy, trying year, and I'm optimistic about 2021. I know that we've grown and we've gained some good companies this year despite COVID. When COVID goes away, I'm looking, this thing is just going to skyrocket, and we're going to even see more. So again, I'm really optimistic. I wore my Christmas tie, so I wish each of you a blessed Christmas, and I want you to keep safe and enjoy your time with your families and keep them safe too.
Hey, Mike, we have one little last minute question. Laura asked, can we email you names of folks in our company to add to the new portal in advance?
Definitely.
So that would
Definitely.
be very helpful. Yes.
Yes. So they, some of them I may already have on my distribution list, but please, yes, Laura, please do that. Anybody else, if you're you know the ones you want in there, let me know who they are. We'll get them in there. Any other questions?
That was it.
All right. Again, folks, I know it didn't take the whole hour, but really, I enjoy working with all of you. Thank you for being part of the OpExChange. Take care.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks,
Merry
everyone.
Christmas.
Enjoy the holidays.
Happy holidays.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Good job, Mike.
Thank you. Thank you.